In the remote wilderness of present-day Montana, a tale of courage, endurance, and sheer willpower took place, one that would be whispered about for years to come. This is the story of John Colter, a man who faced impossible odds against the Blackfoot warriors and lived to tell the tale. It was the fall of 1809. John Colter, a seasoned mountain man and explorer, was in the heart of Blackfoot territory. He and his companion, John Potts, were trapping beavers along the Jefferson River. The air was crisp, the river cold, but neither man sensed the danger lurking nearby. Suddenly, they were surrounded. Over 500 Blackfoot warriors emerged from the shadows of the forest. Colter knew what this meant. They had been caught trespassing. There was no escape. The Blackfoot warriors demanded that Colter and Potts come ashore, but Potts refused and met a swift, brutal end, shot down in the river. Colter, knowing resistance was futile, surrendered himself, hoping to bargain for his life. The warriors tore his clothes from his body, leaving him naked in the cold autumn air. They discussed among themselves, their expressions dark and serious. Then, a chief stepped forward, drawing a line in the dirt. He pointed to the horizon and uttered a single word: "Run." Stripped of everything, Colter realized he was the prey in a deadly game. He ran, his legs carrying him through the dense forest faster than they ever had before. Behind him, the cries of the warriors filled the air, their footsteps thundering on the ground. Barefoot, Colter dashed through thick underbrush, his skin sliced open by thorny branches. Rocks and sharp stones tore into his feet, but he didn't stop. He couldn't. Every breath burned his lungs. Every step sent pain shooting through his body. But he had no choice but to keep running. After nearly 6 miles, Colter turned to see a lone warrior gaining ground, holding a spear ready to strike. In desperation, Colter spun around and faced the man, his chest heaving with exhaustion. As the warrior lunged forward, Colter grabbed the spear, wrenching it from the man's hands and striking back with a fatal blow. With the warrior down, Colter snatched a moment of rest. He knew the others were still chasing him, and there was no time to waste. He continued his desperate flight, his body weakening with every mile. He ran until he reached a river, the freezing water rushing through jagged rocks. He plunged in, letting the icy current carry him downstream. It numbed his body, but he knew it might mask his scent and hide his trail. Colter spotted a pile of driftwood on the riverbank and crawled beneath it, submerging himself in the freezing waters. The Blackfoot warriors arrived soon after, scanning the river's surface for any sign of him. They moved up and down the banks, calling out in frustration. Colter stayed perfectly still, barely daring to breathe, feeling the icy water leaching the heat from his body. Hours passed as he waded beneath the driftwood, his muscles cramping, his teeth chattering. But he knew that even the smallest movement could give him away. Finally, the warriors gave up their search, convinced that he had drowned in the cold, unforgiving waters. When the last of their voices faded into the forest, Colter crawled from his hiding place, drenched and shivering. But his ordeal was far from over. Colter knew that Fort Lisa, the nearest trading post, was almost 200 miles away, and he would have to cross those miles on foot, with no clothes, no supplies, and no protection from the elements. For the next 11 days, Colter traveled through the wilderness, pushing through dense forests and open plains. Hunger gnawed at his belly, and he ate what little he could find: roots, wild berries, anything that would keep him alive. The cold was relentless, and at night he huddled beneath fallen trees, trying to keep warm. His feet, bruised and bloodied from the endless journey, left crimson stains in the snow. But even as his strength waned, his determination kept him moving. As days passed, Colter's body weakened further. His vision blurred from exhaustion. His limbs felt heavy, like lead. He fought through waves of delirium, hearing the distant echo of the Blackfoot warriors' cries in his mind. The wilderness seemed to stretch on forever, and every step forward felt like a battle against his own limits. There were moments when he stumbled, when he thought he could go no further, but then he would see the faces of the warriors in his mind, remember the cold gleam in their eyes, and he would force himself to his feet again. On the 11th day, Colter saw it, a thin line of smoke rising in the distance. It was Fort Lisa. He used the last of his strength to crawl toward the safety of the post. The traders there couldn't believe their eyes. A man, half dead and naked, his skin bruised and torn, but alive. They gave him food, shelter, and listened in awe as he recounted his story, how he had escaped certain death, how he had outwitted the Blackfoot warriors, how he had run for days through the wilderness with nothing but his will to survive. John Colter would eventually recover, but the story of his escape became a legend, a tale of resilience and endurance against impossible odds. He would go down in history as one of the toughest mountain men of the American frontier, a man who refused to let even death catch him. And so, the story of John Colter's run from the Blackfoot warriors remains a testament to the unbreakable spirit of those who dared to explore the untamed West. If you enjoyed this incredible story of survival, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more thrilling tales from history. Let us know in the comments which story you'd like to hear next. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the wild unknown. Fade out.